Hey, what's up? This is Mike, your host of the Joyful Uber podcast. We're going to Seven Embers Coffee to do an interview. Let me tell you a little bit about this drink. This drink tasted amazing. Get this drink. I don't even know what it's called. Just tell Mike that you saw it on YouTube. Man, it was so good. I couldn't even drink this drink on camera because it was so frothy, and the milk mustache that I had would have been too distracting. For our guest, Conservation Officer Van Wagner, talking about the importance of youth hunting, Michigan's new law about registering your deer. So it's going to be exciting. You're not going to want to miss this. Stay tuned for the interview. Thanks for watching and be blessed. Just as a quick side note, the shade does go in and out. I apologize if it's a little dark. And we are in a coffee shop, so there is some background noise. Enjoy the video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to the Joyful Uber podcast. Joining me today, Conservation Officer Van Wagner here of the Michigan's DNR and Conservation Department. I think I got that right.
Yep.
Okay. Awesome. Today you're my first guest on video, so that's kind of cool. I've had some guests on my other stuff, but thank you for joining me today.
Absolutely.
Discussing today the new laws and this little booklet here. And if you're like me, I read this thing religiously because as soon as it comes out, I actually grabbed 3 copies. Also, we're at Seven Embers Coffee Shop. You're going to hear coffee noise, but it's a great little coffee shop. So if it bugs you, well, just come get a cup of coffee and you'll taste why we are here. So thanks for joining me. Like I said, I'm just gonna get right into it.
All right.
Kind of the biggest thing is, why did you become conservation officer? That's the biggest one of the questions.
Well, I seen the local CEO around my hometown, and I also played sports with his kids.
Okay.
So I really got to know him, and me being an avid outdoorsman myself, I just saw that as a perfect job because you're just outside, you get to do a ton of different things with the job. And as I got older, I really started following that plan, and by the time I graduated college, I had my mind made up that I wanted to do that. So.
Did you ever switch majors in college, or you just knew?
I did. I actually have a biology degree.
Okay.
And then I took some conservation classes as well to gear myself towards that. But other than that, no, I didn't. But I started out in law enforcement as a Michigan State Police trooper first, and then I switched over to the Michigan DNR.
So, just if you heard that, being a conservation officer is way better because you're outside. So like I said, I normally don't write down my questions, but I did write them down just so I don't screw them up on my part. So another question that I had for you, like, what's the best and worst part of your job?
Well, the best part I would say is the same as what I mentioned before, just being outside and not being in your standard work environment in an office, and being able to do what you basically want every day. Obviously, as the seasons change, you have different things going on and you're going to be doing that, but you really just have a ton of freedom, and that's what I'd say the best part of the job is. It's hard to think of something that's the worst part of the job, but I would say maybe the fact that people think that we're part of, say, the law making side of things,
okay.
Or because we just enforce the laws and we're not doing any of the population management related. We're the law enforcement side of it, and I think sometimes people misunderstand that and they think that we can fix the problems, but we can definitely talk to people, and that's what we do a lot of the time.
Okay.
Let them know their concerns or whatever it may be. But just I guess the confusion sometimes is
because the laws were made by a committee, isn't it?
Yeah.
So there you have it. The officers don't make the laws; they just enforce them. So, what should you do if a DNR approaches or conservation officer approaches you because you have a weapon, you're hunting? Different dynamic with, law enforcement versus if you make a traffic stop, you might not be armed, but if you're out in the woods and you're actively hunting, you have a weapon. So what's the safest? So you're safe, and then us hunters are safe. Like what should you do?
Right. So if you're contacted by one of us, just remain calm, keep your weapon pointed in a safe direction, treat it as if it were loaded, whether it is or not.
First rule is gun safety.
Right. Yes. And other than that, just have a conversation with us. Talk about what it is if we're checking you or if we observe a violation. Depending on each circumstance, it could be different. But for myself, I'm not out there to necessarily ruin your hunt or anything like that unless there's a violation or something like that. So a lot of the times it's just friendly contact with somebody and just go about your normal business and
The wrap line, that's right. That number is right on the front cover.
Bottom of the guide, yes.
On the bottom of the guide. And this is a very important number. Save this number in your phone. Something happens if you see someone violating, or if you see someone, something that's going on, or if you find something in the woods that shouldn't be there, let them know, because that's how, it's for the safety of everybody, your kids, safety of all your other hunters. Let them know. I know I've used it before. Really simple, contact. You get connected right away. So remember that line. Speaking of youth hunting coming up September 10th and 11th.
Yep.
Coming up really quick. Couple weeks.
Yep.
I mean, not even a whole couple weeks.
Yeah, a week and a half.
Week and a half. So September 10th and 11th, 22 for the 2022 youth hunt in Michigan. And if you're in my neck of the woods in the UP, we are allowed to bait, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So we can bait. I jotted some numbers down on this, just in case you're wanting to know. You're allowed to bait, so you can start baiting on the 5th. But you got the 2 gallon max, right? 2 gallon max, spread it out in a 10 by 10 area, however means you want to spread it out. Don't go over your max. 5th through the 11th you can bait. After that you gotta pull it, because baiting doesn't start until the 15th. That's coming up pretty quick too.
Yeah, right after it,
Okay.
So just a couple other things about that. The youth hunt is for youth 16 and under, and as well as hunters with disabilities as well. There's some criteria you gotta fall under, which it says in the guide. You can look it up online. So just remember that. And basically, the 2-day hunt. If you're out there, you get 1 deer for this 2-day hunt, and the antler point restrictions don't apply. So
okay, so they still gotta buy you still gotta buy your tags. So you can buy a combo tag and you can take
any of the tags. Yep.
Okay.
And then if you're 9 and under, then you'd have to be licensed through the Mentored Youth program. It would just be like any other time you're hunting, only you get this weekend if you're a youth or hunter with a disability.
So if you're 9,
9 and under,
9 and under,
you got the Mentored Youth program, and you need to be sitting with
an adult.
Yes.
And honestly, I'm not gonna let my 9-year-old sit out there with a weapon anyway, right? I mean, that's common sense.
That's the idea behind it.
Now, looking in the guide, and I had a question.
Okay.
So, when reading this guide, it says something along the lines of, I don't know where it's at in this publication, but it says something like, these are not all the rules and regulations. You can find their other ones online.
Yep.
Right? Where do they find it online?
On the Michigan DNR website, there's a ton of links on there that you can follow. And
so go online, take a look.
Yeah, and it's always nice. I always tell people nowadays, if you have a smartphone or something like that, download the guides on your phone. That's
Super
what I
easy
do.
to
The
do.
DNR just came out with Hunt Fish app, it's called, and we're gonna get into it soon, I'm sure, about the
Sure.
reporting. But you can download all the guides.
Oh, nice.
Including, boating, snowmobiling, ORV laws, everything like that. You can check your profile with the Michigan DNR for your licenses, your points, everything like that. It's basically anything you can do on the website in the app.
So can you buy a license from the app?
Yes, and if you can't do anything on the app, it has links to go to the site.
Okay.
So
Nice.
yeah,
So download the app. It's called Michigan
Hunt Fish app.
Hunt and Fish app. Download that Apple Store, Google Store. I don't even know. Whatever phone you have, you know how to get an app. Because hunting with youth hunting, page 36. I wrote it down. I actually took notes, which is odd. 36. Halfway down it says, youth hunters 16 and under are exempt from antler point restrictions during all deer seasons
Yep.
in all regions for all deer licenses.
Yes.
So even during regular archery season and firearm season, if you're 16 and under, we're just encouraging you to get out there and hunt.
Right. Yeah, and that's the idea behind it.
Okay.
Is, we'd like to see youth hunters out there and continue on, the next generation of hunters, fishermen, trapper, whatever it may be.
Nice. And that's kind of another question that we had kind of talked about.
Yep, that would basically answer that one
Yeah,
about the youth
so-
hunt and try to get out there and try something new if you haven't before. But a lot of youth do it continually year by year. And
So just building up the traditions and, because, I don't know, I grew up hunting. My earliest hunting memories, my uncle would take us all on Thanksgiving and we'd all grab our BB guns and go on my uncle's property and try to shoot a deer or try to shoot a rabbit or a squirrel. And of course, you got 15 kids, you aren't seeing anything.
Right. Yeah.
But that was, some of the earliest memories I have. So we're just kind of carrying on that tradition, and this is a good way to do it. What earliest memory you have of hunting?
Earliest memory I have of hunting. Probably be deer hunting with my dad.
Okay.
Um,
Nice.
Yeah, I'd say that's my earliest memory.
Does your job ever get in the way of your hunting season?
Yeah.
No more than usual,
Just
but-
like anybody else's job, really. But it's fun, when it's prime hunting season, it's fun to work and stuff like that. So that's always nice.
So can you take a deer if you're like out on the job? Can you? No, you can't do it.
No.
He can't see the biggest buck of his life and be like, oh, I'm working, so I can't take that
I'm
deer.
working.
I don't know, that would kill me. Because I'm sure you've seen some
Probably
big
get in
deer.
a little trouble for that, yeah.
Oh yeah, well, I took this one. I got filled up my tag. It was legal, right? All right, so that would be like, that's, yeah, see? It's not all fun and games,
Yeah.
All right, the biggest threat that you see to hunting and fishing today, and how do we prevent it?
Biggest threat I see. I would say I wouldn't pick one thing in particular. It's a combination of things, and depending on where you are, I think those things have bigger impacts.
Oh, sure.
You got, like up here, you got the winters that really put a hurt on the deer
Impact,
population just in general. But if you're saying hunting and fishing in general, there's a bunch of things you could throw in there.
Okay.
With poaching, obviously, you got predators. Wolves are a big topic in the UP.
Right.
Everybody's always talking about that. So, in deer hunting in general, that. You got aquatic invasive species when it comes to like fishing. I jotted a couple things down. We'll see if there's anything else I had in here.
Do you see a lot of wolves up here? I always see prints. I've never actually seen one.
Yeah, I've seen a fair number of wolves.
Okay. I always see the
Whether it's on
prints.
job or
Never wolf himself, but I'm sure they've seen me.
Yeah, I'm sure they have. So, yeah, I wrote down loss of public hunting land. In Michigan, we're lucky to have a lot of public hunting land, but if you're talking about other states, maybe not.
A lot of areas not to hunt.
That's the case,
So if you have a lot of property, share it.
Yeah.
Share it. And you can find access to that, places to hunt. I know I've used it on the DNR website.
Onyx, like we said before, shows I believe the subscription will tell you just about,
So you can hunt
public.
CFA, right?
CFR, yeah.
CFR?
CF land, yeah.
CF land.
Commercial forest.
You can hunt national forest,
Yep.
state land, right? And
then otherwise ask for permission, it never hurts.
right. In the Onyx, that's really nice for that because it tells you who the landowner is.
Correct. Right.
Or you can find them if you don't have Onyx. You can also get a plat book. Same thing, but Onyx is right on your phone, which is nice, and it works if you don't have service, which is also nice. One thing I like about these guys here, it always does the important changes.
Yep.
Important changes, new things that you have to do, or just new things that we want you to know. And a big one, other than what's on here, any significant changes? I mean, obviously we have the mandatory reporting that we'll get into in a minute.
Yep.
But any other big changes that are not on here
Not that I can think of at the moment. We had the antlerless tags last year. That's on there again.
Okay.
So other than that, not that I can think of right now.
Okay. The pheasant one is, I don't know, we don't have a whole lot of pheasant hunters here.
No, not that I run into. I see pheasants around.
Yeah.
But
I want to get some pheasants for my land. The Menominee Pheasant Club, you can buy them, the flyers or whatever.
Yeah.
I want to try to do that. So let's get into the mandatory deer registration. It's on page 50 in your little guidebook if you're following along. But and I got a helpful tip for this also, but I will let Officer Van Wagner talk about this. Biggest question that I'm getting for a lot of people, because I let people know we're doing an interview today. Why we're doing it? Why is it? Why is it?
why are we doing the mandatory reporting?
The mandatory. Now I know we're not the only state to do
Yes, that's what I was just gonna say. So basically, it's just to help out with the management and just to better understand deer herd, and in turn you got the licensing things, but basically they've had mail-in surveys in the past, and I know those have been going drastically downhill. So
I'll admit I've never filled out one of those surveys.
And
never.
Yeah, so this
Most
is
people haven't.
just a way to, we're based off other states and what they've done. Michigan has adopted this because we're definitely not the first state to do it.
Right.
There's many others ahead of us, and they have different time periods for when you got to report it. Some might be 24 hours, some are longer, and Michigan, you got the 72 hour.
72 hours. It's 3 days.
Yeah.
Come on. Now, with reporting this, I played around with it a little bit online, but I obviously always going to report a deer that I haven't taken because I want to use it on my tag.
So you just went to the first page and asked for your license number and your date of birth. Yeah. And then it'll just get into a lot of the stuff that's on your tag that you notch out, and you still do have to take a deer. If that's a question everybody has, you still do need to do attach the tag to it.
Fix, and it's got to stay with the deer. If you're having your deer processed, tag stays with the deer.
Mm-hmm.
Or taxidermy, right? Stay with the deer.
Yeah, and right. So what was
on the locations and stuff.
Yeah. So they're gonna ask for some more information regarding the hunt. I think there's ask what you harvested it with, whether it's firearm, bow, whatever it may be.
Okay.
And then there is the location. There's like a pin. They got an interactive map that you can drop a pin where it was, and
And I know a lot of people that got that nervous, like, I don't want my hunting spots revealed or whatever, you know what I mean? And so the only people that are going to see that location,
right, it's used for data for the state.
So you're not going to give away all of our hunting locations.
No,
okay.
No.
I didn't think you were, but putting that out there, I know a lot of people were worried, like, hey, I don't want to give away my hunting spot,
I understand that.
As a hunter.
I've got a lot of questions about that.
Okay. So a lot of people approaching you, hey, what's up with this?
Yeah, about the location thing or whatever it may be. So.
But
like I said, other states have done it and they've had pretty good success, from my understanding, and hence why we adopted this. So
I know in Wisconsin you used to have to register your deer, like at bars or gas stations. Did it a lot. I don't know if they still do it or not, but what's the best way to register your deer?
The best way, it'd be on your phone.
Get the app.
Right, that Hunt Fish app, and then on the site. So, and one other question is, there's a lot of areas around here that don't have service. So, you have 72 hours to register your deer, and it doesn't have to be done by you. You could supply like a family member, a hunting buddy, or your friend the information.
Okay.
If you're not going to be, say, have service or whatever it may be.
You're at camp, you don't have service.
Right.
Let somebody know.
Yeah. And one other thing, if you do bring your deer to, say, a processor or a taxidermist, they're going to need the information from the confirmation number from you registering your deer online, that mandatory reporting. So if it switches possession,
You need the confirmation number.
Yeah. So say you bring your deer to the taxidermist the next day and it hasn't been 72 hours, you would need to report your deer before then because it's changing, into somebody else's possession.
Okay. Make sure to register it online at the app. And what I'm going to do, and just so I have it, because I've been out there in the field, field dressing my deer, notching the tags, they get all bloody, and it's just a pain, right? I mean, because sometimes you're like, oh shoot, I'm, I got it, okay, I'm on, it's on the deer, but it gets bloody or it gets a little dirty on the field. Take a picture of your license before you, while they're still brand new, so that way you have all the information you need when you register your deer, because sometimes it gets cold, or sometimes they get dirty. I've had them rip off, especially if you buy them online.
When you get the paper copy?
You get the paper ones coming in. They're not I don't think they're as durable as the printed ones at the gas station or whatever.
Yeah, I personally like to get my kill tags at the gas station,
Yeah, for that reason.
Yeah.
If you get the paper ones, just make sure that they don't get roots, first of all. Take a picture of them beforehand, so that way you have the information that you need for your tags when you harvest or when you do your registration of your deer. And then if you want, grab the self-laminating sheets. That way everything's nice, especially if you get like one of those rainy days or something, they kind of get soaked. And I've had it happen before, and it's like, shoot, stuff happens.
Right.
And I know that you got a tag there if it's, obviously if it's something happens, it's a rainy day or something, because I've hunted in the rain, especially if you got a nice blind or whatever, but you're like, okay, but I've had them get dirty, dragging the deer out. I've had them I've had to go look for my tag, but if I didn't affix it properly, a string in there. Zip ties are your friend, people.
Yeah.
Zip ties are your friend. Bring some zip ties, throw it in your bag. Well, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for joining me on the podcast. If you want to know more, get the app, look it up, get this, download it on your phone, Get the app, the Michigan Hunt and Fish app.
Fish app, yeah.
Get onX.
And once you download, one other thing, once you download these maps or the guides on your phone, when you don't have service, they'll still come up. So obviously, that's very helpful, especially around here.
Right, there's no service. If you're out, if you're in a good location, a good hunt starts when there's no service. So download the app. If you don't want to bring this with you, download the app. Download, put the report all poaching number, put it in your phone. It's a good number to have. If they have any questions for conservation officer, DNR officer, what is the best spot? Just go online, contact us. Is that how you reach someone?
Yeah. You can try, if you know your local office, you can stop there. But a lot of times, like how you called the rap line you called.
Yep.
Yeah, and they're directed you to me. So yeah.